my goodness, I don't know. I'm so much filled with smiles for the Liga. They started early yesterday. Getafe and Atletico Bilbao in action, and a few other games will also happen today and through to the weekend. So, club football is back, and likewise, CAF interclub competition. The first round is going to go on this weekend with Ghana's FC Samartex in Cameroon at the moment. And in Saint-Germain will be hosting their counterpart at the Crash Sports Stadium this weekend. So much to talk about. But equally, there is a very important assignment taking place at in Takwa, and is the commissioning of the TNA Stadium, a beautiful edifice that has been put up by Goldfields, and that commission is going to happen today. I think the event has already started. Seeing some visuals from the stadium. It's a really, really beautiful stadium there, and it's going to be a coronation match between Midiama and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So we'll get to talk about it. Of course, we know the whole situation surrounding the maintenance of sporting facilities in this country, and some have said they should not give it to NSA because NSA is not very good at the management of the facilities and all of that. But it's a debate that we will try and attempt today on the show. But we'll love to hear from you, because in the course of the week, we saw the guys at Joy Sports, and a few of you also share your top six in the English Premier League. We'll love to hear from you what your top six prediction is for the English Premier League this season. You can send it to us on 055 1111, and we'll love to share it with all of our listeners today. So it's a big show today. For the next 2 hours or so, you want to stay tuned to Joe 99.7 FM. My name is Razak Musbao, and you'll be hearing from the guys very, very, very shortly. But before we get even into all of the conversation, I mentioned that FC Samartex are in action on Sunday against Victoria United, Cameroon's Victoria United. Well, ahead of the game, we caught up with their team captain, Enoch Boateng, just to get a sense of what it feels to play in Africa for the very first time, and what their chances are against Victoria United. Listen to Enoch Boateng, the captain of FC Samartex, ahead of that game against Victoria United on Sunday.
I think Africa is playing the Africa competition is one of the biggest. I think one of the biggest competition in continental clubs. So as we are representing Ghana, I think it's a big task for us. And then as a team, we are prepared to take the challenge. I think Victoria United, we barely know them. And is playing with a side that you barely know them. It's going to be a difficult task, but then our coaches are working so hard, and then I know our first leg we are going there for good results, which will help us go into the second leg. So I wouldn't make any promise for now, but then I think we are going to do well. We have to qualify from the prelims, and then we go to the next stage. So what we're looking after now is the prelims. After that, I look forward to the other task ahead. So we take it match after match.
So that was Enoch Boateng, the captain for FC Samartex. They're currently in Cameroon. They arrived there, I think, on a Wednesday. They had some very light training session yesterday, and so far it's been decent. But before they even traveled, the president of the association, Caretaker, could pay a visit to them, and he had a very straightforward message for them. And I'm sure it reflects the sentiment of Ghanaians as far as what we expect of them is concerned. So here is Caretaker when he visited the team before they departed for Cameroon.
When you go there, they will say the champions of Ghana. They will never say the champions of Samartex. Never. In fact, Summer Boy will not even come in. They will say Ghana. So you are ambassadors of our dear country. And you go there as proud champions. Your colleagues have done it just a few months ago. It's your turn to go the extra mile to put Ghana back on the map of where we belong. I have no doubt that there's quality in this squad. I'm not in doubt. Neither is anybody in this country, because you are champions. And you truly, truly won the Premier League on merit.
Yeah, so that was GFA President Kati Kweku there, wishing the team very well. We'll get to talk about it on the show today. The regulars are in studio. Achu is sitting on my far left. Muftar is in the middle. Sicho is in his regular seat. If you guys always tune into our stream out on Facebook or on YouTube, it's like nobody takes Sicho's seat. Obano, before he comes, is vacant. Is vacant. Is
position.
What opposition?
Oh, I bought the position. I bought the seat.
But one thing you've also forgotten is that this seat is nowhere reserved for Daniel Grant.
Yeah.
No, but that is
why we would switch.
No, but that
true.
is very gentleman-like of the Joy Sports team.
Yeah.
That because I'm a visitor, you have decided to leave the seat for the visitor. So you make me feel at home.
Yeah.
That is why I like to come here because it's home. You know, so you guys are gentlemen.
Yeah, that's really
Thank you.
really nice.
It's not any of the other things on the sites that excite him.
So what is
which other things on the side?
Apart from your microphones and your nice to you, what else?
Which other things are on the side? Well, you give him some refreshments after the show and some.
No, we cannot mention that.
There is the main show,
Uh-huh.
like we are doing now. That does not excite him. It is the reserved seats.
Yes, that excites me because it shows how kind and welcoming and courteous.
So you like the side things, not even the main dish. Like
in fact, there are other things that we cannot talk about.
I think Achu is being a little diabolical there with this. He says you like the site.
Which
not
other
the main
things
dish.
can't you talk about? You should be able to feel free to talk about it.
No.
the last time you were the one saying that you have 4 slots for a D&D. So
No, what's the
No,
thing you
I
can't
said
talk
that.
about?
So you see where he's going.
No,
what
go
is
there.
it- what
What
is
is
it
it that
that-
you can talk about?
You
No,
want to
I
talk
remember
about
Achu was saying that when you come here, you are hugging people. I don't know what you are trying to talk
Oh, I
about.
have very special friends here. If I come, I see Fidelis and I see Michelle. These are 2 people I've known before here.
So you
I've
hug
known
them.
Michelle when she was
So
in B.
you are always here to hug them.
But that's even wrong.
No,
for
but
you are
I've
the
not
one-
seen Michelle.
But guys, talking about Mufti though, we saw your post on Twitter though. You seem to have an issue with Okre. That's the name, right?
Osekre.
Osekre.
Also,
Why do you say okra?
it's actually not an issue.
Okra.
Actually. But
No, I didn't say Okra, please.
Yeah.
Osekre. That's the name.
Also
What
Okre.
happened? What happened?
Well, some of these things, it's actually something that the Ghana Police Service are handling. I filed a report. I went and filed a report against him for threatening to physically attack me, for saying that he's a potential candidate to become an executive council member if Kwesi Appiah steps down. Because it came up during the last executive council meeting that they had a few days ago. And one of the rumors I heard was that he could be interested in stepping into that position. So he called me and was like, I should go and delete his name from the post. So I asked him why. That was where he fled up and said, go and delete it, or else I'll come to your office and physically attack you. I'll come and beat you up. I was like, In fact, the call lasted 1 minute, 3 seconds. So I had a conversation with my bosses here before I went and filed a report. And in fact, when I was having a conversation with the police, it was even quite funny. So the police officer was like, do you know him? I said, yes. How do you know him? I said, oh, he's a football administrator, and I'm also a journalist, so I know him. He's a chief of staff of the Ghana Football Association, though there's no official position like that. So the police officer was even laughing. The police officer was like, he's an aggressive person? I said, no. Dr. Cry, I know he's quite calm. Sometimes you meet him cry, he acts as though he doesn't want to talk.
Yeah.
So the police officer was like, he's a calm person. And I said, yes. You know him to be a calm person? And I said, yes. And you still want to file a report because he threatened you? I was like, yeah, I just want to relax. I was like, yeah, I just want to put it on record that someone has threatened to attack me. He's like, okay. Is he your friend? I said, I cannot describe him as a friend, but I have a good relationship with him. So the police officer was like, so what might have led to his decision to act that way? I said, maybe I cannot tell, but there are certain times that you cannot tell why people will react in a certain way.
Yeah.
The man was like, if you know him as a calm person, you should have just called him back. I said, yes. He asked me to delete. In fact, I gave the police officer the post to read. They read it. They read the post. And they were like, okay, if he says he doesn't want your name, his name on it. Delete it. So I deleted it. And I filed a report.
Well, interesting, really interesting. I don't know if you guys want to comment on this, but I think it's a very harmless post, and I think the reaction was a little, too much. Too much.
I think
if you look at what he's done, was it Vision FC? That's the club, right?
Yeah, Vision FC.
Yeah, the
It's
Premier League
brilliant.
now.
It's brilliant. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
Premier
they're
League
the
now.
Premier
He's
League
done a Premier League, a brilliant job there.
I don't know
And,
if it's brilliant or it's, but
you know,
well,
but I mean,
being the Premier League means
yeah,
You've done something.
But I'm not
to-
blind to the many
Yeah.
things that have gone around. Look, we like to look. You know me, I'll say it as it is. We like to always make it look like it's normal hard work and everything. But when you look at all the things happening around the Ghana Premier League, we need to start speaking about it, because you don't even know whether the teams that won it did it on merit. You don't know if the team that got promotion did it on merit, because we don't trust the system, and that becomes a problem. And so even though ordinarily if a team gets promotion, we should be saying that is an incredible job to have come from the lower divisions to the Premier League, because we don't trust the system, it's impossible to just say that they merited it or they deserved it. On the face of it, it looks like it, but knowing what we know, following the league and knowing how games have been played, we've seen a whole team come with fake players to play a league match and putting the integrity of the league into jeopardy. It's impossible for me to sit here and completely agree that people have won the league or the games or got promotion on merit, and that is why it's a shame that we even have to get here.
Yeah, a few things are facts. A few things too are merely perception. Because over the years, I've always said that maybe the Ghana Premier League has always been a product that some of us, by virtue of our coverage, gave us the opportunity to be where we are today. And in fact, between 2015 and 2016, I'll say that I was one of the few people who was privileged to cover the Ghana Premier League for not just platforms in Ghana, but beyond. So the Ghana Premier League has always been a product that I cherish so much. In fact, it is one of the reasons why I was able to go to school and pay my fees without any hitches, because I made money covering the Ghana Premier League. So it's a product I would always guard jealously. But the concerns of matches of convenience is difficult to fight, because people have, and perceptions are very difficult to erase.
Yeah.
When people develop certain perception about a product, it's difficult to fight it. We can continue to guide the product jealously because it is a product we believe that with the right mindset towards it, we should be able to get the resources needed to govern the product. But if the general populace, and for example, someone like McDan, who has the resources to be able to invest in this product, sees afar, I'm not sure he follows the league religiously as some of us do.
He's a staunch fan of Great Olympics.
That we all know. But the major point is this: if someone like him can say that Chachane does, it clearly suggests that as someone within the corporate space and has money to invest in it, that is how the corporate world see the product. And if they see it like that, it will be very difficult for them to put money in it. He could have sponsored the Ghana Premier League. A few months ago, he was one of the sponsors of Great Olympics. At least we saw his company embossed on their shares. So clearly, he was sponsoring them. I'm not sure he just put it there for free. If he was willing to give his money to Great Olympics, who were participating in a Chacha League, then the obvious question someone will be asking is, but you've put your money on a member of the Ghana Premier League, which is a Chacha product.
Yeah.
But is he willing to put his money in the bigger product, which is the Premier League? I know a few months ago, he was appointed as the board chairman of the Under-17 competition, Champions League that the GFA were decided to set up. This is a man who would be willing to go and put his money in the lower, let's say Under-17 or Under-15 kind of football. But when it comes to the Premier League, they're not willing to do it. How come corporate sponsors are willing to go and put money into intertribal competitions, but when it comes to the bigger product like the Ghana Premier League that we see on television, they are reluctant to? It's clearly the perception. Until the FA is able to fight this perception, the few of us who say we like the Ghana Premier League and we guard it jealously, we cannot mount the defense anymore.
Actually,
Because it's becoming quite difficult.
yeah, it became quite difficult. Actually,
How
it's-
did we even get here?
Yeah, I just want to make this point before you continue.
No, I have a
Mufti-
question. How did we? There is an elephant in the room. Let's address it.
Yeah, we are addressing it. I think
Before we talk about
Let
the
him talk
Premier
about
League
the
and
elephant.
integrity and all of that, look, Aikola Sakura, what you did was disgraceful. You did not behave as an elder in that space. What you did was disgraceful. If I put up a post or I do a report, you disagree, you approach me, you have two options. You have a number of options, actually. None of them should include threat of harm or making a threat in the manner that he spoke to Muftau. You have no right to do that. There should be no justification for calling a journalist to threaten them. For me, I'll say it. I don't care. I don't care what the consequences are, because today it is Muftau, tomorrow it could be me. Look at me, I'm tiny. If Osekre sends his tax to me, they will finish me in 2 minutes.
I don't think you are,
So on matters like this, I don't like to joke, because if you massage the issue and you don't speak to it directly, tomorrow it could be you, and nobody will be there to speak for you, because when it happened to your brother, you behaved as if it was
didn't see
okay.
it.
How many journalists have not been threatened or attacked under this regime, under this Ketukriko-led administration? Think of them, from Seydou to Mohamed Amin Lamte, who these days breaks bread with them, to Muftau himself, Collins Tatapu. How many? I've lost count, seriously. And each time, the position of the FA and its assigns is that it did not happen. They will swear it never happened, including the incidents that happened right in front of other people. But the FA, the Seydou incidents that happened around the same time last year,
Yeah.
it was in October, which is what, a month and change away. So I don't know if it is a ritual that they have at the FA there, that around this time of the year, somebody needs to be touched. I don't know if maybe they went to somewhere and the contract they give them is that around this time of the year, get into a controversy, because it makes no sense. And there is absolutely no need for the repetition of this particular conduct. Look, here's the thing. I think that, Ghanaian establishments have a misunderstanding. They lack a basic appreciation of what journalism is supposed to be. And I will say it all the time. For third world countries like Ghana, we're not a developing country. For third world countries like Ghana, journalism is supposed to be an adversity to the establishment. It is supposed to be very critical of the establishment, because the gap between the development that is required and the people's reality is huge. And the only kind of journalism that will force people and keep people on their toes is one that is critical and that does not pander to the whims and caprices of these people. So you have to expect that nobody is your friend. It is great that we have a working relationship, right? That in the interest of the greater good, we need to have a relationship so that the information flows, because it is not everything that we put in and we do a bloody good job at that.
But in this
it is
instance,
not
it has
everything.
nothing to even
It
do
is
with
not
something
everything
negative.
that we even report. So we exercise discretion greatly. Yes, there are discrepancies. There are instances where you would say that maybe we are too critical, or maybe we didn't say enough about something. We're not perfect. But I don't think there should be, simply because a journalist reported that this is A, you say it is not B. What he should have done was tell Muftau, report my side too. Today I'm telling you that what you reported is not. I'm not interested. It is not true. Reports that I have gotten in touch. Muftau owes you.
That duty.
Owes it to you. That duty. He is duty bound to report that. Failing which, contact his boss and report him that this is the story. I got in touch with him after he published, and I shared my side to him, and I asked him to report. I think your station owes it to me. Will you die if you do this? What happened to conscience? What happened to behaving as gentlemen? Like having a conversation. So what? You send your tax, they come and beat Muftau, and then the next time you see him, you laugh with him or what? So he becomes your enemy simply because he said because he reported a story that you believe is not consistent with the reality.
But what's so evil about somebody linking you to a very
A
respectable
potential
job?
a potential
Because
role.
it's. I mean, at the moment you are an unofficial chief of staff, and somebody now is, from the rumors that he's gathered as a journalist, reporting that you are being linked to one of the biggest seats or highest seats at the FA. How is that? How really is that a negative thing to report? What is wrong with that reportage? If not for your own problems, that it comes from your own thinking.
So look, and you see, we have gotten to the point where I don't know if any of you noticed, Muftau's posts about the threat was not met with rage. It's not because people don't care. It's because we've seen it so many times since 2019 that Ketukreko became FA president that it looks normal. Yeah, he's just another one. Oh, like DJ Khaled, another one, and then like because every year we see this with Black Stars camp, they are security or whatever. He's shoving people around. He's pushing people as if with no respect. They are doing it to journalists. They are doing it to fans. In fact, Qatar World Cup, the South Korea match, I was in the stadium. Somebody is crying. Then this guy goes there. In that moment when Son Heung-min is in tears, that's when, because he has no proper professional training, he goes and he wants to video the guy, and later they have to go and tell him that this and delete. How do you keep repeating these things with people close to you? And you see, my problem is that if you, Ketukreko, and the people around you are okay with that kind of behavior, there needs to be a clear distinction between your person and then the FA presidency and then the executive council. The two are not the same. Your personal corrupted principles should not muddy the reputation of Ghana football. It has suffered enough. If it is consistent with your principles that when someone criticizes you, you will send your thugs to go and beat them, that's your private life, right? The law will deal with you. But people have suffered to build a brand that you feel is important for your career advancement. So when you walk into that office, there is a way of behaving. There are standards for the FA presidency. There are standards for the executive council. There are standards for the Ghana Premier League. That behavior, it is not consistent with because in England, they have what we call the fit and proper test for all prospective owners of football clubs in the Premier League. Newcastle United's new owners were subjected to it. There are people who question the efficacy of it when it comes to people of a certain make, right? So the purists will tell you that Roman Abramovich should not have passed that fit and proper test because of how he made his money, because of the things his money funds. There are people who will tell you that the Saudi owners, right, should not have been able to buy a Premier League club. Those are different conversations, but there is a system in place that makes it possible for us to have these conversations because there are standards that we expect that everyone will meet. So when you become a club owner in the Ghana footballers, in the Ghana Premier League, there is a way of behaving. Who's to tell that tomorrow, when a referee comes to officiate a Vision FC match and the results do not go your way, you will not send tax to go and beat them? And here's the thing. When your followers realize that there is a pattern of you behaving in that manner, there is going to be a time when you will not need to instruct anybody to go and attack Sicho. They will do it because they believe this is how we behave.
Oh yeah. And just
they will do it on your behalf because they will believe that.
And just a
this
second, man.
This is how we do things. You just let me finish. So look, I'm not comfortable with the silence and how everyone seems to be okay with what has now become the norm. Because tomorrow, and you see, issues of compensation or coming to beg someone and say sorry, basically now you deal with them all. By the time someone comes to come and say sorry to you, by that time you have been paralyzed.
Actually, but the biggest problem is when it comes to these things that is repeatedly been happening to journalists, individuals can't fight it. The biggest problem we've got is what has become Ghana Sports Journalists Group. That's the focus, Swag.
Yeah.
I mean, when Muftau posted that, I'm thinking that somebody from Swag. Did anybody from Swag get in touch with you?
No.
I'm thinking somebody from Swag straight away has to call Muftau. Is he okay? Has he filed the police report? And then Swag then writes to the FA that a member of the FA writes to a secretary. So Swag should be leading that conversation to protect the whole body because.
Do you remember
Achu
Swag's posture?
Yes.
When they say to incident.
I'm coming there. Achu alone, Muftau alone, all the journalists on their own can't fight this. Because when the FA are acting, they normally most often than not act as a group. Is the more reason why that is a bodyguard or security personnel is still at posts, right? Because it doesn't make any sense that after what he did in the USA on Seidu, stays at posts. And when you read the swag report, that swag release that came out post, it's very funny. It's very funny. So we need to be careful as a country because we keep falling into the pockets of the powers that we have to check. And it's only a matter of time before nobody at all has any power and nobody's held to any accountability, and the rot keeps going.
And just a quick one. You mentioned something quite interesting, that it will get to a point where even the assigns can go out there and do something even without the approval of their bosses. And let me tell you something pretty quick. Just a few months, or say about a year or two ago, some people had actually planned to go and attack a journalist. And someone asked them, do you genuinely think if you go and do this, right? Or if you tell Ket about this, he will approve of it? And the guy said no. He said, if Ket will say no, so why would he go and do it? If you genuinely believe that Ket will not approve of you going out there to attack someone simply because you feel that the person is doing something that is not in favor of Ket, why would you go and do it? That was how they quarreled back and did not execute that plan that they had. And it's quite unfortunate. And I must say something, right? Last week, Tuesday, for the first time since Ket Okreku became GFA president, that was the first time Ket and I had a conversation that clearly I believed that if he has that kind of relationship and that kind of mindset about the sports journalism space, then we can all grow. I was with Ket when he was praising Joy Sports. I'm not sure anyone has done critical job of this Ghana Football Association more than Joy Sports. I was with him when he spoke positively and negatively about our brothers from other parts of the country who practice journalism. I was with him when he singled out individual journalists who do critical job. I was with him when he spoke about how for 22 years as a journalist, he will be the last person to say that no one should criticize his administration because he's done it before as a journalist. But there is a way you can encourage the media space to do certain stories in your favor. He mentioned certain things that I felt pity for him as GFA president. Why would the Ghana Football Association be the institution to go to the port and go and clear goods that are meant for our football, for the development of football? As journalists, we should be leading this conversation. And I told him that, President, if you bring these things to our attention, we will talk about them. We were here talking about why Team Ghana going to the Olympic Games should be raising 21,000 euros to go and clear their goods when they are going to use the equipment and represent Ghana at the Olympic Games. If these things come to our attention, definitely we will speak for the Ghana Football Association. But if you keep them to yourselves, we wouldn't know. Within that 1 hour period I spent with Kurt, I appreciated him. I told him that there is also a reason why there appears to be a division within the Ghanaian media space. In as much as a chunk of the things we spoke were off record and I wouldn't want to put them out here, I told him that there appears to be a division because when someone speaks for him, the person is seen to be bought by him. If someone speaks against him, the person is bought by people who are against him. It's the reason why there appears to be a division within the media space. And we cannot all always agree. And in fact, he said it, that we can't always agree. It doesn't mean that what he believes is not correct and what I also believe is not correct. But there's one goal that we all must go out there and achieve.
So, let me finish my message to them. I just want to say two things in conclusion.
Let's do that maybe in 40 seconds so we can just touch on the Samartex Takwa Stadium and its management.
It is not everyone at the FA who behaves like the way Osaka did. There are gentlemen there, I have friends there, I have friends on that executive council.
Proper gentlemen.
I have friends on other committees as well. At least I know this is something Dr. Randiabe will not sign off on.
Yeah.
I know this is something Prosper Harrisonado will not sign off on.
Even Ket himself.
However, my message to them is this. When these incidents keep recurring and you keep quiet, by inference, you agree with them, because the injury it does to the damage, the injury it does to the reputation of Ghana football, to the Ghana Football Association, you will not be spared. If you have a voice, if you disagree with it, find a way to get these things out and get these things to stop. To Osakre himself, why not here? Because nobody sitting here hates you. Tomorrow, me, when I see you and there is a matter that I need to ask you about, I will ask you, because that is what my job requires. The day I walk out of journalism, I don't know you. If I see Prosper, and because of what we have said or what we do, Prosper is not even about that guy. But I'm just saying that to all of them, we can't always agree. Me, I am duty bound to do my job if it relates to you. If I come for an interview, you don't give me, I respect that, I will walk away. But nobody hates you. It is not personal. To stop personalizing things and all of these threats and attacks, it is not nice.
Okay. We talk about them here.
Well, you're still listening to Game Plan here on your superstation, Joe 99.7 FM. Let me just tell you a little bit about Chopbox Technologies Limited, because are you a parent or a family member with a loved one in a boarding school now, struggling to get provisions or books to them on time? Is that your challenge for real? Then why not try Chopbox, an easy-to-use online platform available on Android and iOS, designed for your convenience. With Chopbox, you can, 1, buy books and provisions, take advantage of quick buy with pre-packaged packages, send thoughtful birthday messages, or deliver directly to the school. Plus, our new durable plastic Chopboxes are specially designed to find against bed bugs and mold. Say goodbye to wooden boxes and switch to plastic. Visit www.chopboxonline.com and or download the Chopbox app now. Search Chopbox Online and you can get to enjoy our services. For customer support, you can call or WhatsApp us at 03022391134 or 053-047-4694. Chopbox, a convenient service for students nationwide. Convenient wholesale available for business, events, restaurants, bars, and of course, households. And well, so all right, guys. Well, let's get into it now. Samartex have got a big game on Sunday against Victoria United. All the way in Cameroon. Victoria are actually playing this competition for the very first time, so they are like brothers, twin brothers, sort of. And we'll see how Samartex will fare in that game. So Truman have also got a game, and they'll be playing at the Accra Sports Stadium over there. Well, it's now that Daniel Kranti has joined, and not sure where he's been. I'm sure he's missed the part A of the show. I'm sure he's a man who really has a lot of fire. But we've got to move on. Let's get some quick thoughts on.
He would have killed some people.
We beg. Nobody needs to die. Anyway.
I mean, where camp can pass?
So you say that
yeah.
coming. Meanwhile, oh, boss, your seat is still empty. Sit, boss.
Your seat is empty.
All right. Anyway.
We reserved it for you.
All right, guys. Let's get to it. Samartex, big game. Not too sure about their chances. Too sure about their chances.
For me, I think it's a celebration of progress. Samartex are the last of a dying breed. If you go back into Ghana's history, there was a time when all of these industries used to invest strongly, actually own football clubs. So you can think of Architects, Gapoha, Power FC. All of them were very well-resourced football clubs, run on tight budgets as well, and all of that. Quite a number of them. And growing up in Takrady, Samartex is one team that always created problems for Ebiswondorfs and Sekeni Azakes, and even Level-wise. And it was for the simple reason that they had money. So even in the days when these clubs were still big and in the lower tier divisions, when it came to recruitment, they could hire the best of players, put them on good salary, just like Gold Stars. And in the periods that they actually became ambitious, I think 5 or 6 years ago, we have seen some remarkable progress at that club. So now they've put up infrastructure, they have their own stadium, they've added to the training facilities where they prepare for these games. And in terms of pitch on-field success, they've had consecutive promotions into the Division 1 League, and then the Ghana Premier League won it at the first time of asking. And for me, whatever they get from this is something that people of Samartex are going to enjoy, because I don't think 10 years ago, if I asked anybody in Summerboy whether or not they were going to ever be able to play in the CAF Champions League, or any CAF competition for that matter, they will tell you it was possible. For them, it was just a club that was set up as an extension of, if you like, the corporate social responsibility of the timber company, right? So they would recruit people, and every year they would have no less than 20% of the squad made up of the indigents of that place. And so something that was initially set up to give livelihood, or to become the livelihood for quite a number of people, now has become an actual full-blown football project with meaning, not just in the lower tier, because now they've hit history in the Ghana Premier League and they are going to play on the continent. So,
well, they are targeting the group stage. They're targeting the group stage. They're hoping they can do what Midyama did and go on to make Ghana proud. Not sure if any of you want to touch on that.
Achu has said it all.
It's
poor day.
All right, so we'll see how they fare. We'll see how they fare on that.
But do you recall when Samartex defeated House of Oak in the FA Cup?
When someone takes defeated
House of Oak in the FA
wow,
Cup.
let's move on. Don't mind this. Don't mind this agenda, man. Let's move on. Don't mind this agenda.
All right. Anyway, moving on though. Let's just a little bit on the stadium that's been commissioned in Takwa. It's a beautiful edifice. I've seen some pictures from there, and so we've had a conversation about the management of it. Not sure how much we can say to try and drum home the proper maintenance of the facility. Mufti, just a quick one on that. It's a beautiful.
No, clearly we do not know who we at this point. I think Achu will be better placed to talk about that, because the TNA stadium, in fact, there were lots of politics surrounding its establishment. Got to a point it stagnated because some people felt that the money were being used to build a facility for an individual business and all that. But the chiefs and people, it's a main reason why that Mos Parker decided to give a chunk of the club's percentage away to the chiefs and people of Takwa. So clearly, at this point, I'm looking at the facility that is there to serve the interests of the masses, and not the initial perception everyone had that they were using resources meant for the entire community to support someone's
Wait,
business.
they're giving the facility to NSE?
No,
not yet.
Okay, so what actually happened was that they had a contract with
Goldfields, yeah.
sponsorship. Now they got wind that Goldfields might be open to the idea of renovating the TNA for them, or making a significant contribution towards its redevelopment. But Midyama needed to meet a certain requirements, which was the community components or community ownership components in the structure of their shares. At the time, they were not meeting that. So
they use that to build a stadium?
Is there?
So they use that to build a stadium?
No. So Moses gave, I think, between 15 to 25%, I'm not sure the actual figure, of shares to the Apinto Divisional Council, and where Midyama is actually situated, all in a bid to meet that requirement and see if they, when this eventually comes up, they will be considered as owners or part owners, anything at all. Of course, they knew that they were not going to invest $60 million and say we're handing it to Midyama. Unfortunately, that did not happen. In fact, the Goldfields sponsorship itself was discontinued in the second year. But one of the people who I think have played a seminal role in this would be the Takwa MP, Kuduka, because the original plan was to redevelop the facility. No, the original plan was to renovate it, but he, together with some consultants, impressed upon Goldfields to consider its redevelopment and put up something entirely new. The main issue was the difference between the cost of the initial renovation and then the cost of building a new stadium. But he was able to lobby and then get his way through, and eventually here we are.
What's a very beautiful edifice.
This has been done in record time there. So as of this morning, the word was that the NSA wants to be given custody of the facility to manage, because in their wisdom, the facility now will belong to the community. So as far as they are concerned, it is a national asset, so they would manage it. But Mrekuduka and the Takwa Municipal Assembly wants the Municipal Assembly to manage that particular facility.
All right.
I think what is likely to happen is we'll have a consortium which is an amalgamation of Goldfields itself, and then some representation from the NSA and then the Municipal Assembly.
Well, I think that would be a perfect way to get the stadium in a better shape. Well, let's now get onto this because it will start today.
This one they beep us. This one they.
Jackson, no flag. Sterling's up. Jackson's on his way. Raheem Sterling! Now the flag.
Premier League is back, guys. Premier League is back. And I think what makes the return of the Premier League even more interesting is when I heard Eric Ten Hag speak yesterday.
Why are you excited?
Chairman say, oh yeah, ready yet. I say I'm not ready. Sicho, is that what he said?
Well, he says that the team is not ready, but it's not an excuse because every other team is almost in the same position and maybe everybody's not ready.
Yes, and there's a viral sound of Daniel going to say he won't accept the excuse that the team is not ready.
But everybody's not ready. Who's ready?
No, you have to be ready now.
But wait, is Chelsea ready?
Is Chelsea ready?
Yeah.
I haven't heard from the coach yet.
No, but what do you think?
We are there.
You're there.
Thank you for anybody to be there.
Sicho, how many players have they signed in the last 3 years again?
So at my last count, they had signed 35, right? By close
No, wait,
of the-
but that's inclusive of the women's team, right?
No, boys.
This guy.
Distribution.
All right, guys, Premier League is back. It's exciting. I'm not sure whether you should hear from Eric Ten Hag, that very message from him. Even Pep also says he's not particularly ready, but I think I like what Mikel Arteta has said ahead of the new season.
They be ready pass.
Yeah, Charlie. He said make ready.
The team makes sense pass.
Charlie, he said, Charlie, they are ready. They are ready to go for the goal. Charlie, he says they are ready to cry. Well, they won't see Mikel Arteta.
I think nobody's going to put more demands. There's no computer. There is nobody external is going to put more demands on us that we're going to do ourselves. So that's it. Let's give it a go. Yeah. It's going to be about the journey, and we have to think about the start, where we want to be on day one. I think we had a good preseason. We made some big strides, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta, he says they are ready to go. It's a big game today, Manchester United versus Fulham, and I've seen some.
Did you just say a big game?
I mean, it's a big game, man. It's a big game. It's the first game.
Fulham versus Manchester United. Is it a big game?
No, it's big in the context.
It's the opening game of the Premier League, so
it's a big game.
Yeah, in that context, it's a big game.
What about Sunday's game?
Yeah, that's a bigger game. Yeah, it's a bigger
Actually,
game.
Man U Fulham is closer than Man City versus Chelsea.
What did he say?
You like some things. You like doing some things to yourself. I don't understand.
How do you say City, Man U Fulham be closer pass when the two teams?
The guy they sit there, no. The guy they sit there, they host the show. The guy they sit there move back. Ask him.
Say what?
Ask him.
We then City play 4-4. You then City, how much you play?
See, we won the FA Cup by beating City, effectively pushing you out of the Europa League.
We are okay with the Europa League. You see our players.
You
are in the Conference League. You are not in the Europa League.
You are
the Conference
celebrating 1
League.
point.
Did they play who? Is this a VIT or who?
Yes, yeah.
Where they come out from?
What a tough draw.
We are playing the Conference League. We are also playing
Tough
the
draw.
You see, the point is that after Sunday,
It's tough, man. You're traveler.
Anyway, guys, but let's talk about the Premier League, the return of the
We'll
league.
talk about anything. We'll talk about Sevilla.
I've seen, in fact, all of you, to be fair, all of you have given your predictions in terms of your top 6 predictions. And for Daniel, he was very, very, I think he predicted Arsenal last season. He stuck with them this season. I think Mufti, you did same with Arsenal.
Man City? No.
You chose Manchester City.
Man City.
And Sicho also
Man City.
And Achu
Arsenal.
Achu has joined me.
Achu has joined.
The sheer number of people who are predicting Arsenal, it's almost like I have a feeling most people are so tired of seeing City win that because of that they just wish Arsenal win. Because see, Arsenal don't have plenty enemies, so apart from Spurs, nobody cares about Arsenal.
Arsenal actually have enemies.
From where?
Last season, the running made me see Arsenal's enemy. You think Man United? Let me tell you, we are talking about our population here.
Yeah, localizing it.
We are localizing it.
Yeah.
You think Man United fans, Chelsea
No,
fans,
Arsenal
Liverpool
bring that
fans? Oh, see, if we are all battling for the title and Man City is there, no, the one that Arsenal or Liverpool or let Man City take.
Well, it's like City don't have the enemies.
They don't have enemies. If City wins the league, nobody is shouting, nobody is. We are cool. If Arsenal had won, if Arsenal, thank you. Last season made me see, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham, they are 16 in this country. Tottenham fans, Aston Villa, all of them against Arsenal because. I mean, we know this.
But guys, realistically though, does Arsenal have a chance this season?
Yeah.
Are you asking me? You Chelsea have a chance. You are sitting here asking me that.
Yeah,
No,
talking about
they finished second in back-to-back seasons.
2 points. away from the top.
Last season they were only 2 points away from, and in fact last season I said it that Arteta bottled it. It came down to that game against Aston Villa. Getting to the end of the season, Arsenal had it within their grasp to win it, and they slipped. So this is another season where, and you see that Arsenal are not selling their good players, and Wenger, in the last 10 years of Wenger, where the stadium had been rebuilt and needed to bring in money, they were selling their best players to bring in money. Every year, someone, Fabregas left, Nasri left, Adebayor left, Van Persie left, everybody left, everybody left. But this Arsenal's core have been there for the last 3 or 2 seasons, right? So they keep their best and they add up to their best already. So they've got options on the bench and they've got their first 11 still very much intact. They'll only be stronger. And so I can understand why people predict they are going to win. But City don't also sell their best players. They don't sell players who they don't want to sell, right? And City have got a great manager who, even when he loses some important players, he just has the magic to work something out. So I still think City are favourites, but Arsenal are within the touching distance of winning the Premier League.
Is Arsenal not tired of hearing that we are within the touching distance?
No, they are not, because only recently that they started getting close. Arsenal have been
2 seasons.
Yes, Arsenal have been playing outside top 4 for. They returned to Champions League for the first time in the last 8 years.
They were ever present in the top 4 under Arsene Wenger.
But that was 8 years ago. It took 8 years for Arsenal to come back into the Champions League.
After you grow, don't think we are still this thing. You are old.
And they went all the way to the quarters, right? Having come back to the Champions League after 8 years.
Yeah, after 8 years.
So Arsenal having been very listen, they've been great in the cups, FA Cup, they've won in the period, but they've not been competitive. They've not been
They've won one. They've won one FA Cup.
No, and when
You
when
two
they were
grow.
struggling under-
You
when
think
they were
you are-
when they were struggling under Wenger, and they were not even competing.
Yeah,
for
they
the
won
league.
back to back to
One
back.
back to back.
Yeah,
Since
yeah.
Wenger left,
They've won one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the period where they've not competed for
Which
the
is
league.
about in 6
They've won
years.
cups.
6 years is a
but
long time. Situ, you are old.
yeah.
Actually-
So some way.
That case is the only person who is not old here.
Oh no, I'm embracing reality. You people are talking at Wenger like Wenger was yesterday. That was a long time ago. A long time
Same
ago.
energy. For me, it's the year-on-year growth that Arsenal have experienced.
I've made them believers.
I'm saying you say believe.
You've only gotten one believer.
It's the year-on-year growth that Arsenal have experienced, and not just that we're tired of Man City. City are inevitable; they will do what they have to do, except that they have gotten into positions where you could tell they were at par with City. City didn't win the league last season because they were better. City won the league because Arsenal got into that position to win, and they made some unnecessary tactical adjustments that cost them that game. Because if you look at the running and the games that we all thought were going to banana peel Arsenal,
City should have been third last season.
look, all of the teams that we thought were going to banana peel Arsenal won those games with cheeky ease at Old Trafford. It was, they didn't have to break sweats. They essentially won that game in third gear. Then Liverpool, City, the only issue was that Aston Villa game. And even if you take away Arsenal's slip up, Liverpool also had to slip up before City could win the league. This wasn't one of those cases where they blew everyone apart. Beyond that, Arsenal have also made significant adjustments to that team. And so, unlike last season where he literally had to play the first core, right? The same core for most of the games in the Premier League, because in the cup competitions, when he made changes to those teams, we saw that it backfired, and Arsenal were eventually knocked out of.
For those of you who are wondering,
You don't like misbehavior, so offense. What are you doing?
Fence has just joined us via Zoom. Man.
See,
The voice.
those who know Fence, they will understand this. He has toiled to get hair on his head, so we should understand these things that
The
he's
J
doing.
Tintin. You remember Tintin? You look like Tintin, pa. Charlie,
But
No, so I beg you get me off for there.
But generally, I think that they are better equipped to deal with the fixture schedule that last season they couldn't cope. I'm sure if Arsenal had this squad, last season he perhaps would have ended. Arteta would have ended the season with one of those cup competitions, because the drop off between when he went with his regular 11 or 14 players and then in the cup competitions when he had to reshuffle the pack for the team to rest was just crazy. But some of the players they've actually signed are players that, if you look at some of the other teams that we expect to make the top four, they would walk into those teams and they would play. In fact, if you take away City, there is not a great deal of quality around to say that someone like Calafiori will not get a starting berth in some of those teams, either at left back or even in centre back. So for me, I think that, look, for the growth that Arsenal have shown, this is the year that I think they can minimal the mistakes they make. And once you take away the errors and, if you like, the self-distraction, for those who want to exaggerate, I don't see why Arsenal can't topple City.
All right, let me just bring Fent in. Let's hear from him briefly. Fent, you also picked Arsenal to win. You had Manchester City in second place. You didn't fancy your team Chelsea at all. In fact, they are out of the top four, somewhere lying sixth. And Liverpool is in there. Spurs is even ahead of Chelsea in your predictions. Fent, let me bring you in now.
Okay. Musba, what do you want to know? Oh, God. Yeah, I think on a more serious note, I definitely do think that Arsenal look like they have been building up to this point. I think anybody that picks Arsenal to win the league this season is doing the most logical thing, looking at what happened in the last two seasons. I think the biggest challenge for them would be that for Arsenal to win the league, they have to be up against, they don't necessarily need to be stronger than last season, but I think Manchester City would have to be remarkably at a lower strength than they were in the last two seasons. And personally, I think losing Julian Alvarez would have a slight impact. And again, I'm saying this with a grain of salt because we know Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. Every time you've thought that the absence of an important player would affect them, it doesn't. But having said that, I do think that it is not out of place to suggest that Julian Alvarez, in the last 2 seasons or 3 seasons since he's joined this Man City team, he's found himself to be quite useful in very important times of the season. And I think he will be a big miss. I'm not exactly sure about the full fitness level of Kevin De Bruyne. We saw that last season. And even though his absence didn't necessarily affect Man City to the extent many expected, you cannot also underestimate or dismiss the impact he had when he finally got back into the team. And so when you look at these smaller issues at Manchester City, you can look at Arsenal only getting stronger, with more experience, a bit more character in their team. And you look at the way they perform in the last 2 seasons. I read an article last week that said that Arsenal made the most passes in the opposition final third than any other team in the league. They've definitely found a way to get into the opposition's half and to create goals and score goals. They just need to figure out how to keep the important clean sheets when it really matters. And I think Arsenal have it in them to be able to win the league. I don't think that, maybe apart from Liverpool, in those maybe 3 seasons that Klopp was in charge of them, where they could really push Man City to the very end, I don't think any other team has really been able to do that except this Arsenal team, and especially on a consistent basis. And you can dismiss 2 seasons ago and say they collapsed, but I think Arsenal were the biggest threat to Manchester City. And last season, we saw that it took them up until the very last day for Manchester City to win the league. And this was coming off a season where Man City had won the Champions League, so presumably at their very best. And yet Arsenal pushed them all the way to the very last day of the season. So I think, and that's for me the reasoning behind my choice, that I think Arsenal, it just seems like they've been knocking on the door for far too long, and it's finally time for, when, the analogy is that when you knock a door for too long and you're persistent, it breaks down and you can finally enter. And I think that this might be that season for Arsenal. I put Chelsea outside its top 6 because, well, in the top 6, but bottom of it. And that is a very hopeful prediction, to be honest. When you look at everything happening at Chelsea, It's a very relatively young squad. And I do have to tell all the people that like to make fun of Chelsea and say they have 43 players. I think that is just propaganda. We know that they do have 43 players, but not 43 players are training to play in the Premier League. So anybody tells you that it's a nightmare situation and Chelsea have too many players and they are spreading memes where they spread memes of people in a big bus or children fill the stadium and they say that's Chelsea's training ground. That's just propaganda. We know that Chelsea does have that many players, but not all of them are training to be in Enzo Maresca's team for next season. The players that are going to be that are going to play important roles next season, we know them. We know that those are the players he's been training with. And for me, that is what every judgment of Chelsea's performance next season should be based on, the players he's training with. And I actually think that there is still room for one or two players to come in, looking at the players that they've decided he needs to deal with going into the next season. But I think it's new, and he's trying to implement a new style of football, and that possessive-based football that everybody is so fascinated with. I've said this many times in the past that I'm just like, I like just win for me. I'm not too fascinated about style. I'm not too impressed with possessive-based football. Even Pep Guardiola, who many of these managers are trying to imitate, it's not every single time that Pep Guardiola style has always been playing possessive-based football. Possession-based football. Pep Guardiola changes every season, and every other manager is trying to copy him. And that's why everybody keeps falling short, because everyone is too obsessed with trying to copy the Pep Guardiola style of football. Well, we know that even Pep doesn't play the same style of football. And so Enzo Maresca is coming with his ideas. Listen to him at the press conference. He says he has 4 different ways of pressing. He says he has 3 different ways of playing possessive football. I hope all of that can come together with this new team to try and, of course, do something this campaign. But we know that the Premier League is a very difficult, league to play in, much different to what he experienced in the Championship with Leicester. And we also saw that as a young manager, he makes his own mistakes. And Leicester City, and people only remember the beginning and the end where he had a good spell, but there was a period when he looked in real danger of throwing away automatic qualification, when his team had established, I think, something in the form of a double-digit lead, and that was cut to, and they came down to second at some point. So he does have his mistakes. He's young, he's growing, and I think those things will still happen this season. You will see it with Chelsea, where they could get a decent run, but then that inexperience will still set in. So I can't see Chelsea putting together consistent performances this season. But there's reason to be hopeful. They've got great talent up front. And I think the addition of Neto, Pedro Neto, and look at that Chelsea front three. If Nkuku is fit, and they've got Nkuku, Neto, and Palmer, that is a talented enough front line to be able to compete with any other front line in the Premier League. You look at the midfield, maybe this season is when Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo will finally gel. So Chelsea does have quality. I think my only concerns would be at the back, because we saw in some games last season the absence of Thiago Silva. Chelsea really struggled, especially for leadership at the back, and Reece James can't stay fit for God knows what. It doesn't mean that they don't have enough cover. They do have enough cover in personnel. What they lack is leadership. And I think, for example, if you look at right back, I think Chelsea didn't miss Reece James's talent in particular that much last season, because Malo Gusto really had a great run, was one of Chelsea's better players last season. The problem is it doesn't give you the same leadership that someone like maybe Thiago Motta or Reece James would give you. And it's the same thing at those are centre-back. They can be decent with good enough talent, but it's not the same. Last season, Chelsea barely had, what's the name of the former Leicester left back? He was barely fit last season.
Yeah, Benjua.
Thank you. Didn't play a significant number of games, and that's another really important leader missing at the back last season. They were very lucky to have Cucurella in the team, put up some really decent amount of performances, but you cannot dismiss the absence of key personnel like that. And I think that is usually the problem with a team full of talented players who may not necessarily have the right form of leadership to go with. And I think when you look at all of the teams that have been built in the past, they always do it, with young players together with very very experienced players who take responsibility. You look at teams like maybe. And that environment, in my opinion, actually allows the young players to thrive. But when the young players come in and they have to assume the responsibility of leadership, it becomes a big problem. Because, you have, let's say, a good example would be Real Madrid. I don't know if it's Sucho who has said that in the past. If a young player walks into Real Madrid and they're struggling, they have, let's say Tchouaméni goes to Real Madrid, he's struggling. They've got Toni Kroos and all these other important experienced players to cover for them.
Yeah.
Chelsea built his whole new midfield, and they bring in Enzo Fernandez, you bring in Caicedo. If they're having a rough patch of form, who is there to step up? No one. And that, for me, is a problem with Chelsea young team. And that's why I see a lot of inconsistencies this season.
Well,
and that's why I'm too confident they can finish in the Champions League.
Well, I just want the guys to also touch a bit on Manchester United. I'm not too sure where they are fancying them to be at the end of the season. Mufti, maybe let me just bring you.
The one that granted is here. The granted said that Eric Ten Hag, November, they give her up to November. If you don't improve, they go sack him.
Oh, really? Right, he's been given an extended contract, actually. They recently gave him an extended contract. And I was listening to an interview that Ratcliffe granted. He said he backed Ten Hag the season to go on and be successful.
Forget about backing coaches. In fact, in the Premier League, they appear to have a certain template. We've seen it. They will release a statement, back you, 72 hours later, they go fire you. So if they are giving this man 3 months, like Daniel Cranton has said, because he has a very good relationship with the Man United leadership, from the Glazers all the way down to Ratcliffe and all that. Daniel Cranton, when he sends a text message and says sack him, they go sack him quick. Yes, it had a quick.
But maybe Sicho or Daniel on this, they've got some decent additions to the side. Matisse Delit. I'm not sure what you think about it. What is lacking in this Man United team to get to the point where, when you're talking about the teams that are likely to go and win the title, we can mention them? What is still lacking in this team?
But you don't just get up and win a title. It doesn't happen like that.
So what is lacking in the team?
Leverkusen just got up and won the title.
Yeah. Give me 3 other examples.
Leicester got up and won the title.
And since then?
But they won. You said they don't. You're looking at the post.
So we've done 2. There's left with 2.
Napoli got up and won the title. So he said 3.
Napoli's one is not true.
Why?
Napoli had been building slowly. I'm talking about coming from, you are just there, no, you just back there, you come and win.
But the season for Napoli won, they came from outside top 4.
And then before?
Outside top 4.
With Sarri.
Before they were.
With Sarri, they were close like twice. And
Sarri left
Sarri left no
Fly come England. Fly go back Juve. Fly go that team, your friend team.
Okay, so in the history of the world, 2 examples.
I mentioned 3. I mentioned Leicester.
You don't just get up and win titles.
By the way, yeah, that's true. I agree.
You don't just get up and win titles, which is true. There needs to be a process, and you need to build. Man United, unfortunately, the project under Ten Hag hasn't gone in a.
It's still not taking off yet.
Obviously, he hasn't taken off. 3rd in the first season, 8th in the second season. So most United fans, the people around Man United are looking at this. This is like a fresh start. Not a fresh start for him, but a fresh start for the project, especially because there's a new sporting direction of the club. So that's why I'm saying he has 3 months, because if you look at the composition of his backroom staff, you can tell that the guys who triggered the extension, it's not like a new contract it's the old contract which had an option to be extended by a further year, and then they did that. So that is not giving him a new contract. It's a completely different team. They trusted him, they would have given him a new contract. But to be frank, the coaches on the market are not, it's on way. We have a general lack of coaches. The same we have a general lack of DMs on the market. That's why players like Caicedo and Endo and Co are playing for big clubs. But it's cool. The fact of the matter is that for Ten Hag, he will seriously need to improve. I don't think Manchester United is ready to win the league. It takes a lot. The standard that Man City and Arsenal are on, I don't think Man United have that consistency in them. they don't have the squad depth, they don't have the experience to go through a whole season consistently winning. I don't see that to happen. But what United can do and what is within their ability is to properly challenge for top 4. Not even challenge, they have to finish in the top 4. A third or a fourth place is achievable this season. When you take out Arsenal and Man City, Liverpool is the next best, but they themselves have a new coach who is coming in. So that factor can also play in against them a bit. So Man United, they should be looking at themselves to challenge for a top 4 place this season. And it's a must. That's what I'm saying. By November, if United are out of the top 4, Ten Hag will get a boot. He will go. And Ruud van Nistelrooy, who I still consider Manchester United's manager from day one, because they are just preparing him. No, seriously, they are just preparing him. But look, this season will be interesting. This season will be interesting. You guys have spoken a lot about Chelsea, but the fact of the matter is that it's not what the guy sitting there in room is saying that will come to pass. He has spoken a lot. He's talking about Palmer and Nkunku and somebody being able to, Pedro Neto, being able to battle it out with some of the best. This is the first time they are going to play together. The first time. The guy over there, he said Mbappe and Kono don't need time to. But you're telling me Pedro Neto and Kono can battle it out. You see some of these.
Why he doesn't have hair?
You see some of these things you need to be consistent. But the fact of the matter is that
I will not accept
Chelsea
who said Vinicius and Mbappe won't work. They're the first one saying that Lamine Yamal won't work.
It depends on where you sit, and now I understand. But the fact of the matter is that you see, football is science. Football is science. It's not feelings. It doesn't obey feelings. It doesn't obey. It's a science. The project that Chelsea is running, the number of players they have under their book, 7 goalkeepers. I don't know if they are going to. This is 7-2-4-2-6. The statistics is on way, but it is a big problem. It affects training, and you see, these are the things that Tuchel spoke about. It affects training methods. Potter spoke about. Pochettino spoke about. Yes, the same problem still exists. 43 players are in the Chelsea. They took 43 players. I, as a coach, supposed to train 43 players for the season. It is still a problem. The players they are bringing in, to be frank, they are really talented individuals, but you need a certain level of experience, to be able to challenge for anything significant in this Premier. Look, the Premier League is tough. The Premier League is tough. It's tough. So, an inexperienced manager coming into an inexperienced squad, it is science. 1 + 1 is 2. That's what I'm telling you, Joe. You see, Maresca is not Alonso. Maresca is not Pep Guardiola. We know him. Maresca, even in the championship last season, when they put the trophy in front of him, he was supposed to win 1 match to win. It took him 5 attempts before he was able to do it. That is inexperience. That is not somebody who doesn't know the job. It is inexperience. And this is his first time in the Premier League. And he's playing, or he's coaching a team that will be under pressure to deliver results week in, week out. Even coaches who had Premier League experience, like Potinus.
Yeah.
Potinus came in, he struggled, they sacked him. Even Tuchel was struggling with this Chelsea team, they sacked him. Pochettino came, he struggled, they sacked him. Sometimes when you keep changing the person at the helm, you need to start looking at the body and the people running the team. Maybe they are the problem. And I genuinely feel like the way Chelsea is being run, that is the problem. It may not necessarily be the manager, but they've made another mistake by bringing Enzo Maresca. So just like Ten Hag, I don't think, even if he survives the season, we'll see a change next season. Because frankly speaking, this Chelsea team and the winning mentality of the fan base will not accept mediocrity. It is a fact. Chelsea fans have, especially 21st century Chelsea fans and the Abramovich's babies, they have been pampered season in, season out. So there's a certain winning mentality that they have, and they are not going to accept all the Chelsea fans who are doing, oh, it's a project, trust the process, they came 3 years ago. You cannot be a true Chelsea fan, a true Abramovich baby, and you are satisfied with finishing 11th, 10th, 6th, no
trophy. Signing the players and are appointing the coach and telling us that they are signing the young kids so that in the next 4 years they'll become world-class players. They also trust the process and the kids will develop. These are the same people who have sacked Potter after a few months. There are some same people who disagreed with.
No, they sacked Tuchel first.
They sacked Tuchel.
Then they sacked Potter. Then they sacked Pochettino.
Pochettino.
Thank you.
And now they've brought in Enzo Maresca. Even they are not patient. How much more the fans?
A shock. So
Those who know what the project is are not patient. What about those in the stadium?
Then those in the stadium. So look, I foresee a difficult season for Chelsea. But again, I'm happy because it's not something that they've not grown used to over the past 3 years. So Chelsea fans
they'll live with it.
Yeah, they'll live with it. It's okay. As for Arsenal, I genuinely think Arsenal will win the league this season. And I don't agree with Fent when he says Man City will have to drop off. There's nothing wrong with Man City. There's nothing wrong with Man City. So people should stop making excuses for Man. There's nothing wrong with Man City. I told you, Paul, last season that you are not the one to tell Pep that because he doesn't have Gundogan, he can. Pep made Gundogan, and he said he doesn't need him again. The seasons where De Bruyne went out about 4-5 months, they still won the league without him.
Even last season. First half of the season.
Last season, Pep decided that Foden will be his key player, and he was his key player. Next season, this coming season, he can decide he doesn't want to use Foden again. Last 2 seasons, Grealish was a huge part of Man City winning the Champions League. Last season, he said he doesn't need him again. He didn't play him. He wasn't playing injury. It didn't affect them. So Alvarez, who was second fiddle to Haaland, will not. It doesn't weaken Man City in any way. Stop making excuses. So that next year, by this time, when Arsenal has won, then you come and say that Man City had dropped off. That's why. There's nothing wrong with Manchester City. The signing of Savio, players like Marketing, Matthias Nunes. Look. This City team is beefed up. They are ready to challenge, but Arsenal will beat them to the title. That's the difference. City don't need to drop off. They don't need to drop. Stop making excuses for them.
Fent, to say you are the one possibly making excuses for them. You can go ahead and speak.
Ask him to put his hand down. We don't want to. Hold on. Hold on. Put your hand down. Put your hand down.
Actually, let me make my point. Daniel is sitting there propagating palpable falsehood. Okay. And propaganda number 1, Cranty is spreading about Chelsea. Enzo Maresca is not training with 43 players. The number of players Chelsea have signed is not affecting his training methods. He has said this: you cannot sit in a studio in Kokomlemle and tell Enzo Maresca what is not happening to him.
So when you finish this, I'll give you a rebuttal.
Let me finish.
Oh, you finish.
Chelsea's 43 players. They are training with Chelsea has divided the players into different groups. The ones he is training for the start of the season are not 43.
They are 35.
So Chelsea are running a shift.
They are not 35.
Don't
lie. Listen to Enzo Maresca. He had a press conference today. Don't lie.
How many are they?
You clarify something for us.
Go and listen to
clarify something for us. Did you just say that Chelsea are running a shift system? Did you just say that Chelsea are running a shift system?
It's not with the same coaches. Hold on, Achu. It's not with the same coaches. It is not with the same training pitch.
How many players did he say he's training? How many players?
Enzo Maresca, in his own words. This is not me making it up.
Yes.
And it's not your opinion.
Yes.
Enzo Maresca says he is training with 28 players, not 35.
Okay.
Just
7 shy of 35.
That's what he's dealing with for the start of the season. And he certainly doesn't have 7 goalkeepers. So, Daniel, you lied.
Chelsea has 7 goalkeepers.
He didn't say Enzo has 7 goalkeepers. Enzo doesn't have a keeper.
He didn't say Enzo is training 7 goalkeepers. Please.
Hold on.
You two take your time and listen.
I'm saying that.
Don't be a politician. I said Chelsea have 7 goalkeepers on their books. That is a fact.
Hold on. But you also said it is affecting training. It is not. 7 goalkeepers are not training there.
He didn't say they are training there. That it is affecting training was the size of the squad.
Numbers are, you see, he said the numbers, 43 players. He said it's affecting training.
It's affecting training. You are listening to a politician who is a coach. We've heard these things before. Pochettino came out to say there was nothing wrong at the beginning.
Let me finish.
He was, everything is fine. Getting to the end, he started complaining about the very things that Tuchel was complaining about. We see this thing happen every single time. Why will Enzo Maresca, who has been given the job of his life, come and complain about things in the opening 3 weeks? When they are going to sack him 10 months from now, then you start saying the very things that I'm saying today.
So you see,
but I want that they run a shift system where some people train in the morning, some will train in the afternoon, the others will train from midnight.
I want to clarify something.
No, to be fair, I've seen the list of the 45 players around, right? Some of them are in Chelsea's Premier League 2. You know the Premier League 2 is there. under 21.
Yeah.
Premier League.
under
Some of the
23.
players are there.
under
Chelsea have
23.
also signed a lot of players who are there. Now there are also many players that are on Chelsea's books that are on loan with other clubs like Strasbourg.
Yeah.
Now these players are training now with Strasbourg because their loans have commenced. However, there are still a lot of players on Chelsea's books that I'm even hearing that the likes of Madueke and co. They are looking to sell them. Chukwuemeka is being said to be
let me help
on
you.
loan. Chukwuemeka, one of them. There are so many. There are so many of them that they confuse.
No,
That
but
is said
friend, is
going
it true
on.
that
So I
Chelsea has
get that.
43 players? Is it a fact?
There are,
moved on from that matter.
Sicho, you mentioned it, and there is a certain group of players who are looking for solutions away from the club. Those players are not part of Enzo Maresca's team for this season.
Oh, there are only few of them.
Let me finish. Oh, hold on. So you see,
Lukaku
you mentioned
and Chalobah
you see, a goalkeeper like Petrovic is on his way out. Lukaku, same. Kepa Arrizabalaga, same.
Chalobah.
Leslie Ugochukwu is going on. All of these players are not training with the first team, but they are counted as part of the so-called 43 players that Chelsea is dealing with. You are telling me that Chelsea is dealing
But there are
with
players
Lukaku?
you have to plan for. Or
No.
But you are dealing with them.
there are
Just
players
be
you have to
dealing with
plan
them.
for. No offense.
No,
The
no,
fact
no,
that
that's
you
not-
may or may not find a solution does
No,
not negate the
no.
fact that you have to plan with them.
see-
You have to
you
plan
see-
for them.
you see-
You
no,
will
no,
make
no.
a determination of
Actually,
whether they
hold on.
stay or go
What?
on loan or they
Okay.
train with the
Hold
Premier
on.
League 2. But
Hold
they
on,
are
hold
Chelsea
on.
players
Hold
and
on.
you will plan for
Hold
them.
on.
It is not
Let
out
me
of
read
place
a
for
quote.
anyone to
Let
say
me,
that.
No. You see, I don't like this. Let me read a quote to you. Today, Maresca was asked this very question. And he says he is dealing with 28 players. He said the remainder of the players, he doesn't have to deal with them. He said that is Lawrence Stewart's job. So the fact that you say he has to deal with them is untrue. He doesn't have to deal with them.
No.
Let's deal with the players he's training with for the
you are
season.
cherry-picking.
Finish.
Friends, you are cherry picking.
No, but actually, the
Daniel
fact
said a
is,
lot
the
of
fact
things.
is that
He's
as
cherry
far as the
picking.
Premier League is
The point
concerned,
the point is that I don't care about the rebuttal. The fact is that Chelsea have, if it's Maresca, it is Stewart, it is Gogolio. Chelsea have 43 players.
You have to
Full
plan
stop.
for.
That one I don't
and
care.
as far as the Premier League is concerned and the
Now,
season is
the last
concerned,
thing I will say
Chelsea
is
has
that-
got 28
last
players
thing-
they're going to
Yeah.
deal with.
They have 40
Now, the
plus
last thing I will say
players.
is that Daniel also came to tell me that I can't sit here and tell Pep Guardiola what is good for his team and what is not good for his team, and that I'm making excuses for him and that there's nothing wrong with him. Now, he also specifically said that Pep Guardiola made a player like Gundogan and he decided that he doesn't want him again. I want to tell Daniel that that particular statement, for example, is untrue. It's not always that Pep Guardiola, every player that leaves is because Pep wants them to leave. In fact, on the specific issue of Gundogan, this is the quote from Pep Guardiola. He says, and I'm quoting him, "We wanted Gundogan to stay, but he decided to leave. We also wanted Mahrez to stay, but he decided to leave for a new challenge, for their family issues, for whatever." Thank you so much to them because
Pep
it never
wanted
could have
Sane to
without
stay.
their impossible.
Pep wanted
This is Pep
Aguero
Guardiola's
to stay.
team.
Pep wanted Fernandinho to stay.
On that goal, Pep even cried.
He cried.
Even
Pep cried. Aguero. He cried.
The next season, Erling Haaland came to
This
cover
man.
something goes.
What are you? You come to read
So
a Pep
don't
quote.
say-
Pep said that.
So
Pep
don't say
was
that.
Pep
So
was
don't
going
say
to
he
face
didn't affect
Crystal
him.
Palace.
Yeah.
He said one of the most dangerous wingers today is Zaha and Jordan Ayew. You do believe it? You do believe it? Do you believe it?
Pep said he can never replace
Ah,
Aguero, and he was crying.
He was crying. He was crying. Then he brought Haaland.
Before the season ended,
Haaland had already
announced Haaland.
He said,
The man says the departure of the players is affecting him, and you are saying that we shouldn't make excuses for him.
Master, he's a settings man. No, come in. He's a settings man. What are you telling
Uzma,
me?
I think
Yeah.
enough of Chelsea and their problems. I don't think they'll make the top four. I've always I don't believe in the project.
Top six.
The project is not a football project, right? No, it's not.
It's a football club.
No, but yeah, it's
a football club. It's not a football
no,
project.
you don't run football like that. And you see people saying like, you can't tell a rich man. Look, rich men always go into business that they fail and regrets every day. Every day they make bad decisions. Every day, why people don't lose money? Stock markets, how people they fail. Look, I want to talk about Liverpool because I mean last season they've got a new manager in Arne Slot and he's come into the team. He's not necessarily had any signing coming in. But when you look at the Liverpool team, it's difficult to improve many parts of the team. Goalkeeper, solid. I think they've got decent centre backs. Maybe another signing could have been good, but Kwanzaa's performance from last season makes it difficult to bring in a third, defender when you already have Konate. Then left back, they've got Chimikas, they've got Robertson. Robertson is, I think, if not the best, one of the best left backs in the Premier League. You've got Trent and Conor Bradley as well. Solid guy. They've got many options in the middle of the park. But one thing they don't have is, having seen Liverpool play in pre-season, a DM that can somebody, a midfielder who is defensively good, can also do something that Arne Slot has tried to do with this Liverpool team over pre-season. It's a midfielder who can pass the ball really well vertically, right? And he doesn't trust, from all reports and from all accounts and from what we've seen of pre-season, he doesn't trust that Endo can do that job. Endo is fine when he has to read the space and cover. Endo is fine when he has to get close and apply the pressure and win the ball. But when you want him to send the ball forward, pass that ball, get that ball around the line to send it to the final third, that is not his game. And I have a sense that Arne Slot wants a DM like that. But it's not easy. On the market, Danny's mentioned it, even from last week, mentioned it, that one of the most difficult positions now to fix or find is finding a DM. Because right now we require the DMs to do too many things that years ago wouldn't have been necessary. They need to be able to take the ball from the goalkeeper. They need to be able to pass the ball well. They need to be able to be comfortable on the ball. And they also have to be good at intra. Yeah. So the combination is plenty, So you don't find them easily on the market. And Liverpool are struggling to do that. However, it's in the final third that it looks like Liverpool have got plenty options. Gakpo, Diaz, Nunes, Mo Salah, Diogo Jota, at times Elliott. So they've got options. But most of them flatter to the safe. Right? Liverpool have not got anybody that they can count on to give them, apart from Mo Salah, who has consistently shown that he's a pure goal scorer. There isn't any player in that Liverpool team who gives them that. Everybody has been a flash. The only one player that I think is also extremely prolific, looking at his numbers, can also be trusted with fitness, is Diogo Jota, right? But Darwin Núñez hasn't shown to be a proper number 9. I think Darwin Núñez hasn't shown to be a proper number 9. I think if Darwin Núñez, if Núñez played around a player like Wayne Rooney, a player like maybe Didier Drogba, and you're playing two top, or even you're playing two top, I think he thrives. He can come short, head the ball, flick it on. But when he has to be a proper number 9, he has not. So Klopp at times had to use him wide. Luis Diaz as well is not the money, right? Where Mane will chip in a few goals or a number of goals in the second half of the season. So that is what maybe Arne Slot has to fix. That is what he also might need. People say Arsenal need a striker. But I think that if Liverpool want to go all the way and compete, they need a dependable source of goals, not only Mo Salah. So yeah, we'll see how Liverpool also thrive. But I think altogether they've got a decent squad. I expect them to finish in the top 4. Minimum.
All right, great. Sit you there. Well, let's just get some comment from some of you. You've been commenting on the Chelsea thing and also giving your top 5 teams. Mufti, a few comments we've got.
Just read them.
Yeah. So this one says, "Hi, my top 5 teams at the end of the season should be Arsenal, Liverpool, City, United, Newcastle, in that order." It says, "Shout out to Sicho, Daniel." Shout out to Sicho. I'm Daniel from Makati Hill. All right, so
big shout, bro.
Yeah, man. Then this one, which other one have we got here? It says, okay, this one says, is it a happy birthday message or something else? Quite something else. Said I have a major view about anyone attacking journalists. That's Kenneth Ashigbe. Over there. Anyway, so that's just on that earlier issue there. A few more comments. This one says, Ni Tojo from Tema Newtown. Sports plays a vital role in nation's development. Here in Ghana, government is not investing properly in sports, but wants glory. What a country, he says. And continues with some...
We heard from Alan Chermanteun this week when he spoke about how government cannot invest its budget into
he says
sports.
He's fronting private sector-led funding for sports. Hopefully we can revisit
we need to talk about it next week, please.
Yeah, someone says, please, okay, we're going to announce the fantasy code very shortly before we wrap up, but it says my top 4 for the EPL is Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs. Okay, we haven't said much about Spurs. And this one's Aziz, Idi, Goro, inside Tema. Side 10. All right. This one says, hello, Joy Sports, enjoying the show. Please tell Daniel Cranton that whether he likes it or not, Eric Ten Hag will lead Manchester United to the promised land.
Oh, and I'll be happy.
Coco Ninja.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
The point is, he doesn't have an excuse.
I bet Coco Ninja, you get Coco for that.
Yeah, so. All right, this one says, good morning. I'm bedroom. Pep Cajola from Ontario, Canada. Hey, tell one, bedroom pound.
Yeah.
Can you guys predict your top 4 for this season and who will win the Champions League?
Too early.
All right.
Top 4
Okay.
the Champions League.
Yeah, top
Yeah,
4
the
the
Champions
Champions
League.
It is, at the moment it's Real Madrid, but as time goes on, we can review that.
Okay, at the moment they say it's Real Madrid.
It's always Real Madrid, and it's not.
This one says Arsenal was going to win until Man U fans started talking about this Community Shield myth. Pep is angered. Okay. I get it now. I get the point he's making. Okay, I get it. He said Chelsea didn't struggle last season. We had our injuries and still managed a final in the League Cup and semis in the FA Cup. We finished ahead of Quarantine or United, but somehow you have Vim that United will finish in the top 4. And again, those training directly with Chelsea is 28 players, reiterating what Fenn says. The rest will leave on loan or permanent move. All we ask for this season is injury-free season for Chelsea. You will see magic this season. Look, Saka too.
Relax.
Saka, I know him.
Did you see the energy? Did you see the energy Musbao attached?
Oh no, it's very important.
No. You see,
it's very important.
No, I want to address Saka because he's my guy.
Yeah.
Saka today is my guy.
Okay.
Saka too. You and I know that football is science. When you have the likes of Pedro Neto, Nkunku, Fofana, Rich James, Chilwell, there are plenty. Lavia. You don't pray. You see, you don't pray.
It's factus.
It's okay.
It's when we hope and pray.
This one it says, I'm Bernard from Ada. Danny K said the bitter truth.
Why don't read?
Yeah, there's no bitter truth anyway.
You can't say, like, I don't read that. You feel like it's
I told you. Why you got to Sakatu? The energy to read Sakatu's message was different from this one.
And he goes for that to say, we Chelsea, you and who Chelsea? We Chelsea fans should not expect something different this season. Anyway, we are playing Conference League. What do you mean you're not expecting something different?
And you're playing Seviate.
How can you play Conference League and say you're going to go and mess up?
Quite a tough
So
opposition.
those are the comments from some of you guys, all right? Comments from some of you guys. Let me just get the, what do you call it? The Fantasy League code. I have it somewhere here. Those of you who wanted to. So on our social media handles so you can check it. Okay. This one says what? Azamati. All right, we'll just touch on Azamati briefly before we go. Understand what that will mean for his career. So the Joy Sports Fantasy League code is 5
Quick.
O W J X K. 5 O W
Thank you.
J X K.
Thank you.
That's the Joy Sports
K for
Fantasy
quarantine.
Premier League code.
that's
So
the
you can
winner.
join and we'll see how well you fare
That's
in
the
that fantasy league this season. All right.
Join.
You have to
Join.
join. Everybody join. And while you are joining, let me just also remind you of the Habitat Fair that's coming up. So make sure to let go of the overpriced land, home ownership and furnishing deals. Get the best deals for all your housing needs at one place. Visit the EcoBank Journeys Mini Fair at Good Park near Accra Mall from the 30th of August to the 1st of September 2024. The fair will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and admission is free. So be there to engage with various stakeholders in the housing value chain for your home ownership needs. EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair. Get a house, make it a home. The fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and is powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitat. Rent to own and sponsored by Elegant Homes, where quality meets value, safety and home solutions. You think of a door, we have it. G&J Technical Services, G&J, the generator people. Deftraco Woodlands, a master plan gated city. DPS Pipes, connecting you to life. Home World Building Supplies. Let's build together. Global Lighting, your solution to quality lighting. Super Lock, you deserve the best. Everlast UPVC windows and doors. The right choice for windows and doors. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough. Lesh Fortune Limited. Curtains Papa be Curtains Papa be luxuriously perfect. DBS Roofing Industry, your roof expect virtual security, complete security solution. Your Ben Security Doors, protecting lives and properties. Clifton Homes, beautiful homes, wise investment. The EcoBank, Joni's Habitat Fair, get a house and make it a home. Well, we need to wrap up shortly and switch. Okay, before we do that, we have to talk a bit about Azamati and the new training camp he's going to join. But guys, the La Liga, just before we switch to that, the La Liga, of course, we saw Kylian Mbappe make his debut, score his goal in the FA Cup. Charlie, champion guy, super guy. At the moment, I saw a video where somebody, I think it's a meme or so, they said Barca fans were trying to explain how they will fare this season with the squad that Madrid have got. Is it just a perception that Barca might struggle to compete with Real Madrid come next season, or is reality?
It's not a perception, it's a reality. Some of their more important players are injured, and some of the other ones they will depend on. You don't know if they can discover the form or rediscover the form that have been we've been very accustomed to over the years. A player like Robert Lewandowski, you wonder if his pass is best or he can rediscover the form of his first season that helped them to win the league. Then you're also wondering if Rafinha will be good. We saw a very good Rafinha in the Premier League. He's never really had it going in the Barcelona shirt. You wonder if he'll be good. Ferran Torres the same. Meanwhile, the more important players they've got in the midfield are not fit. Pedri is having his injury worries. De Jong never stays fit. Gavi now has joined that injury list as well. And at the back, how solid can Barcelona be? Is it Christensen, Kubasi? Is it Araujo, Christensen? What is the right combination? Is Koundé trusted right back? Balde is back, but can he do the job? So they've got question marks around the entire squad. The one player that you are certain that he probably can continue with his form is Lamine Yamal, and you are hopeful that he can do that. We saw him at the Euros, but can he get better than what we saw from last season? But when you look around the Real Madrid team, there are no question marks. It is set. Like you see, and you see what makes it even more interesting is, I think the way Carlo speaks in interviews is one of the reasons why people underestimate his tactical acumen and how good he is in reading games and applying tactics to it. And so people say, "Oh, he just picks the right team and they do their job." No, you can't be as successful as he is if you're not sharp in tactics, because he's probably been through 3 generations of different types of football. Yep. In the late 90s or in the mid 90s to the late 90s, the 2000s, and now in this generation, and he's had to almost always modify something about the game to remain relevant, and that is what we see of this Real Madrid team. And we saw it in the Super Cup. We saw how when Atalanta are a great team, they play very well. They were pressing 1v1 all over the pitch. But what he did then was, because their wing backs were pressing 1v1, he allowed his fullbacks to come so that they would draw those guys to come. Then the space would be there for the wingers to enter. You see, the guy. So when the grey-headed Italian is on the touchline, and then the ballers, he's playing chess with the superstars. Everybody knows that this season will be hot for Barca, and they've got Kylian. What I like about the early signs are that Kylian Mbappe has not come in with any ego. And of course, I don't think he could have walked into that team with that ego as I'm the main man. You know, when Cristiano Ronaldo walked into Real Madrid, the posture was, I am here to get you what you want. Right? That was the posture from Ronaldo. And when they played, he was the main man, right? Kylian Mbappe's posture is, I'm here to be part of this great team.
Yeah. And I want to win some.
And I want to win some because you guys have won things I've not won. Yeah. Mbappe is a winner. He's won the World Cup. Everybody wins here. Mbappe has won the World Cup and everything, but at the club side, he's not achieved what Vini and Co have done, right? So the posture is, I want to be part of this. I want to look at the boys between Rodrigo, Vini, Mbappe, Bellingham, Valverde, Tchouaméni, young, the vibe. You see, all right, and then Rudiger is the old fella at the back, and I think that
he's hitting their head. Rudiger was also show you.
He went and hit Mbappe. I was like,
he's been hitting his head. Anyway, we need to wrap up. But just before we get you to speak on that move that Zamati has made, let's just take this very, very quick commercial. We need to do that before we switch to that conversation very shortly. So let's do that. Then we'll just end with you, Fent, on that Zamati move. All right.
Prudential Life Insurance proudly presents the 5th edition of Pride Accra, happening on Sunday, the 1st of September 2024 at the Black Star Square, Accra. Check-in begins at 6 a.m. and the race at 7:30 a.m. Professionals, you can register through your clubs. For amateurs and enthusiasts, register online via www.prudential.com.gh or dial *778*001#. Registration is free and open till the 25th of August 2024. Register and ride for a chance to win up to 15,000 Ghana cedis, branded medals and riding gear. Supported by the Ghana Cycling Federation, the Multimedia Group, Afro Culture, Decathlon, Fit Trip Gym, Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center, Special Ice, Reggie's Juice Bar, Kwa Naturals, and Luxury Recreation. For more information, call 020-201-8870. Pru Ride Accra. Ride for life.
Let go of the overpriced land, home ownership, and furnishing deals. Get the best deals for all your housing needs at one place. Visit the EcoBank Joy News Mini Fair at Good Park, Accra Mall from 30th of August till the 1st of September 2024. The fair is open from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. daily and admission is free. Be there to engage with various stakeholders in the housing value chain for your home ownership needs. EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Get a house, make it a home. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the Plant City Extension Project from Citizen Habitats, Rent to Own, and sponsored by Elegant Homes, where quality meets value, safety and home solutions. You think of a door, we have it. G&J Technical Services, G&J, the generator people, Dev Tracker Woodlands, a master planned gated city, DPS pipes connecting you to life, home world building supplies. Let's build together. Global Lighting, your solution to quality lighting. Superlog, you deserve the best. Everlast UPVC windows and doors, the right choice for windows and doors. Syntex Tank, Air Strong, Air Tough, Less Fortune Limited, Curtains Pap Peppy, luxuriously perfect. DBS Roofing Industry, your roof experts. Virtual Security, complete security solution. Yoben Security Doors, protecting lives and properties. And Clifton Homes, beautiful homes, wise investment. EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Get a house, make it a home.
In this month of July, Aquaba Magic is taking you on an entertainment roller coaster. NO Season 2 is here live. Watch how the drama unfolds as Bearfee struggles to rescue her daughters this and every Monday at 9 p.m. That's not all, though. Watch Nana Koto, Taylor Made, Aketechua, and the Lankai Show Season 2. Tune in to Aquaba Magic DSTV Channel 150 and Go TV Channel 102. Aquaba Magic, Ghana's most loved storyteller.
Big Chef Tertiary is back, bigger and better. It's the Big Chef Tertiary audition train traveling from campus to campus across the country. Starting Monday, August 5, we are live at Dr. Hila Liman Technical University in Owa. Then we head to Bolgatanga Technical University on August 7. We move to Tamale Technical University on August 9, then touch down to Takrady Technical University on August 12. Make a stop at Cape Coast Technical University on August 13. Move to Accra Technical University on the 14th and link up at Koforidua Technical University on the 17th of August. And we round it all up on the 19th of August at Ho Technical University. So you gather your team, perfect your recipes, and stay tuned to Joy Prime for all the juicy details each day at 3 p.m. We will be streaming live on YouTube as well at Joy Prime TV. Big Chef Tertiary is proudly brought to you by Frito Cooking Oil. You deserve a life of goodness. Fortune Rice, always on point, just like mom. And sponsored by Hallmark Cafe, a delight in every sip and bite. And Chef Ware, confidence in action. Big Chef Tertiary, the kitchen has no boundaries.
The much-awaited Street Art Carnival of the Year is here again. Chalewati Street Art Festival 2024.
Theme: And now, an end to the empire of horrors.
Come experience a display of varied artistic representations of African culture, history, storytelling, dance, and music.
From Monday, August 19th to Sunday, August 25th.
Media partners, Joy Prime,
Joy FM,
Hits FM, My Joy Online,
Adum FM,
Adum TV,
and all multimedia affiliates across the country and beyond.
Charlie Water Street Art Festival 2024 is powered by Joy Entertainment.
Welcome back. This is Joy 99.7 FM, and you're still listening to Game Plan. Well, few minutes to end the show, and big news coming in earlier today is Benjamin Azamati, Ghana's 100 meters record holder, following what was a fairly, unimpressive outing at the Olympic Games, but big move for him following the games, and friend has got all the dues because he will be training with one of America's finest, Kelly, and also one of the very renowned athletics coach, John Bolton, and so many people are excited about this. But Fen, just help us appreciate what this means for Benjamin Azamati, maybe in just a minute and a half.
I think it's a great move. Obviously, he's been out of school for some time now, but I think this is the big first step to his professionalism and going full-time track and field. He was still in Texas where he went to school, obviously, and still being able to maintain a job or two to ensure that his training continues. But by moving to California to join the training program of John Bolton, who also trains Fred Kelly, a bronze winner, in fact, a double Olympic medalist. He also won the medal back in Tokyo. I think it's a big commitment that he's made personally, and it does show that he is trying to take this athletics thing as seriously as possible. And this is the time that he needs everybody's support. I understand that he is personally funding this, thankfully, from resources that he's getting from ASICS, his sponsor, his personal sponsor. But obviously, it would have been really nice if he got another form of support, because all of that money is going into paying the coaching and paying for accommodation, rent, and all of these things. It would have been really helpful, for example, if government had another way of, helping him out, maybe giving him a stipend or whatever. But I think what's going to happen is that we are going to see for the first time what this does for him in the next 12 months, leading to the World Championship next year in Tokyo.
All right.
How many crucial milliseconds can John Bolton help him take from his personal best, or how many more sub-10s can he run going forward, and can he do it on a consistent basis like Fred Kelly does?
Yeah, Fen, hopefully we can talk more about it on Prime. The time just
difficult.
Yeah,
but I think that it's a great move for him personally.
All right, that's fantastic. We'll continue the conversation on Prime Sports. And guys, just say thank you very much to all of you. We'll be back same time next week on Friday to talk about, I'm sure, the first week of the Premier League and all other games. Thanks so much for being part of it. My name is Razak Musbao, and up next shortly will be the BBC News at 3.